My name is Thomas, and you're watching Swords to Podcast. Thanks for watching. Welcome back to Swords to Podcast. My name is Thomas.
And my name is Adam. Today is my special episode. I have brought together a list of traits that you might find in Commander players, whether it be your friends or just randoms that you run into at the LGS or when you're playing on Spell Table. And I'm going to ask Thomas how he feels about them and whether he considers them red flags or green flags. So, Thomas, do you have anything to say before we get into this?
The only thing is, just since I can see the list, it's like, I feel like a lot of this stuff should be pretty obvious. Like, if there's something that some people find red and green flags, I'm going to be really interested to see what you pull out for this. Because I feel like a lot of stuff in the game is cut and dry, but we'll see what happens when we get into it.
All right. So, number one, and this is one that you and I have both had experience with, and one that I have sort of changed my mind on relatively recently, and that is if you play OG dual lands in your casual commander deck.
Oh, you just want me to start? Just want me to start? Sure. Yeah, I'm trying to remember to the last time that I've seen it because, it is something that's rare. Uh, they're going to be proxied, obviously. If you're playing like real duels in a casual deck and they're like legit copies, that's kind of nuts. That's nuts. Because that tells me that you have multiple doesn't that? I mean, am I wrong? It feels like you probably have multiple or something. It's like there's no way you just have like one casual deck and you're just putting duels in it and they're real, right?
Well, I have one in my most dangerous gamer deck, but that's just because it's kind of like the deck that I want to bling out.
Yeah, but okay, but a bling deck is just that's different.
Yes,
That is different. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really have that much of a problem with it because in the end, how powerful are they really? They're mostly procced by the fetches, and I do see fetches in casual decks pretty often, and low key, I think it's worse to see a fetch than a duel. I mean, having them both together, obviously, kind of it makes sense to have them together, but yeah, I think playing fetches in a casual deck is just something that I look at as worse. So I would say OG duels. I'd honestly maybe lean more towards green flag because it's just love of the game. I don't know.
Yeah.
If that makes
No,
sense.
I'm with you on there. I think this one's kind of a gray area for me. Um, I used to think it was a huge red flag. Like, what are you doing, really? Like, come on. But anymore, number one, I don't care. Just because kind of like you said, you're not making the deck crazy powerful. Whether you have a basic land or a duel in there. Like, obviously, yeah. If you're in like a 5-color deck and they have a $10,000 mana base, that's a little different. But that's a whole other issue in itself. But I think, yeah, if you want to play the duels, go for it. And oftentimes when you see players with like proxy duels or whatever, they might be like newer players who don't really understand the stigma around them, and like, you know, I don't know, go off king. I guess I don't really care.
Well, so there's a difference between a dual land and like a guy's cradle.
Yeah, yeah, that's for
So
sure.
I think that's kind of where the line gets drawn.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess going back, if you do have real duels, then like by all means you deserve to play them.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like yeah, if you're on that level, then you earned it. So, all right, what do you got? What do you got next on your list, Mister
Next
Adam?
up, I've got if they're playing fast mana like Mox Amber, Lotus Petal, basically any of the mana that are the mana rocks that aren't necessarily on the game changers list, but that are still very powerful. I mean, Mox Amber obviously it's a pretty expensive card to get. Pretty much I don't think you can buy a copy for under $50 probably. Um, and Lotus Petals, whatever. I guess that could go in the same conversation as like Elvish Spirit Guide or Simian Spirit Guide, but any of the fast mana. But I think Mox Amber is like the most representative piece. What do you think?
Well, So I know you said Mox Amber is expensive, but in the grand scheme of things, like 50, like it's not crazy.
Yeah.
There are people that like will put money into like a casual deck, and I think Mox Amber, as far as compared to the other Moxen, it's not the most oppressive because you need like a legendary and stuff. I think that's one reason why they're balanced. I think Diamond is clearly like the best one, and Opal is close, but it just depends on how quickly you can get it online. But if we're talking about Mox Amber, it's like you know if you get your turn one Ragavan, or you're trying to think, are there any, like what other? I mean, yeah, Rograk. What other like one mana Yoshimaru? He's one mana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess there are quite a few legends you can get out on turn one. So, Mox Amber, maybe, maybe not. I think in general, when it comes to playing these cards, like if you bought the copy, I can't have a problem with you playing it because it's not a game changer and you own a copy of the card. So I'm not in a place to say anything. Lotus Petal, I think, is completely fine. I don't even think Lotus Petal is that good in like. I don't think you can just slot it into any deck and it's automatically going to be good. And maybe the same case for Mox Amber, to be fair. Like they're just mana rocks. Lotus Petal
Mm-hmm.
is low key worse than a mana rock in some decks because you just lose it. So unless you have a way to get it back, it's like, what are you going to gain from that? One extra mana. I don't know. So
Yeah.
I say green flag. I love Lotus Petal, by the way. I really do love that card, and I like seeing it.
I think I'm gonna go the other direction, Thomas. I think playing this kind of stuff is a red flag, but it's just because. Have you ever seen the? I guess what is it? The graph that shows you how much mana you have access to over the course of a game, and it shows you like what happens if you miss a land drop on like turn 3 or 4, that kind of thing.
I mean, I haven't seen a graph, but obviously that's I've heard discussions about it. So
Yeah, it's like
is there like
when I
a official graph or something out there?
yeah, well, it's just I mean it's simple. It's like if you have a land on turn 1, you have access to 1 mana for for the entirety of the game, and then if you have a land drop on turn 2, you have access to the 1 mana from the previous turn plus that land on turn 2 plus a second land, so you have access to 3. Then turn 3, you have access to that mana
Wait, what?
plus the 2 lands you already had, and then a new land. So like each turn, it tells you how much access to mana you've had for the entire course of the game.
Oh, I see.
So
Because
like
it
if you
adds. Yeah,
miss a
yeah, yeah.
land drop, then each preceding turn or each following turn you lose access to that mana. Right. So
That
if you
makes
miss a
sense.
land drop on turn 2 and then you go 6 turns, you've lost out on 6 mana from that one land that you didn't play.
That makes sense.
And
Yeah.
so stuff like Mox Amber, like obviously Lotus Petal doesn't do that. Just those one-time bursts don't do that. But something like Mox Amber, in most decks, it's just a free land drop, especially if you have a low CMC commander. Um, like Mox Amber doesn't necessarily help you power out your commander, unless it's pretty, unless you have like other cheap legends in the deck. But I don't know. I think Mox Amber, personally, I think it should be a game changer. But I don't know. I think that I may have just had bad experiences with people that play Mox Amber, and that might be sort of tainting my recent memory. But it seems to go along with a lot of more unfun play styles. But I can totally see why like yeah you opened some Pax of Brothers War and you pulled a blueprint Mox Amber and you want to play it, like go for it. I'm not gonna you know
Well, yeah. I guess it might go to experience because I know you talk about at your game store. There's a lot of really competitive people and a lot of people that are stingy about proxies and stuff. So
mm-hmm.
at my LGS, it's maybe a little bit different. It's more casual, I would say. There's one person, shout out Tom because he knows who I'm talking about. We call him Moneybags. Dude comes out. We meet him for the first time. He has like 3 decks. These things are like hundreds of dollars, blinged out. He has every expensive card, and like the decks were fine. Like they weren't like crazy powerful, um, but he had like a ton of expensive cards, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna win. Not always.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it just depends.
Real quick before we move on, I have to close my door. I totally forgot to. Shouldn't It shouldn't affect the music too much, but I like to have it closed at least.
Yo, while he's gone, shout out Bad Bunny.
Okay.
Yo, that Super Bowl was awesome. Hey,
You were just talking. What I
No,
Did I miss?
I wasn't saying. I was saying, yeah, those bananas look delicious. Is that what those are?
Oh, great, 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 great. Now I know exactly. Okay.
Are those bananas? What do they have in
Yeah,
Puerto Rico?
those are bananas. Bananas
Puerto
or
Rico.
plantains?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think bananas grow upwards. I don't think plantains grow upwards either. Maybe those are bananas. I don't know.
That's what banana bunches look like. I mean, they grow the same way.
Oh, the
Um,
more you know. The more you know. And do chairs grow like this out of the ground normally?
Not. I don't think so. No. Well, I mean, I've never seen it. Like, I've never been to Puerto Rico, so I can't.
Yeah, so I
Or
guess yeah, we don't
Puerto
know.
Rico. You're gonna
Yeah,
be
Puerto Rico. Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All
Yeah, I
right.
learned something. I learned something about accents. I don't speak Spanish, but in Puerto Rico, there's like an S at a lot at the end of a lot of Spanish words, but in Puerto Rico, they don't pronounce the S. Did you know that? So instead of
No.
like mas, it's like ma. Did you know that?
No, but I mean,
The more
it's
you
probably
know.
just something like going to or gonna, stuff
Yeah.
like
Oh
that,
yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
shortcut.
It is slang. Yes.
Interesting.
We learn
Good for
something
you.
new every day. Okay. What do we got next? Let's go back to magic. Let's get off of Puerto Rico.
Um, so I'm gonna switch the order of these because I guess this one more closely ties in as far as like what cards you have in the deck. This is a topic that I saw recently being heavily debated. Do you play snow basics?
Do I play snow basics or just in
Well,
general?
just if you play snow basics, and then you can have your own.
Yeah, so here's what I'll say. Snow basics are more expensive, right?
Mhm.
And I learned that because my Abdel Adrian deck used to be Elish Norn before I added Candlekeep Sage, made it two colors. There was one card in the entire deck that cared about having snow lands. It was like enchant snow permanent. It was one of the enchantment exile something. Um, so I got an entire. It was like 30 snow planes. So I have like a ton of them. I still play them in Abdel because I have them and I think they're cool. But there's no reason to have them now. I mean they're cool. So if you're not playing a snow deck, I think like they're cool and it is fun when you come out of the gate saying, "All right, I will play a snow covered plains," and they're like, "Snowland, what's he
Mhm.
got going on?" And then just like for nothing.
Mhm.
So I think it's a green flag, low key. I think basics are really really cool, and they look really nice. Like the aesthetic on them is really really nice. And if you're not playing a snow deck, then I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I kind of have the same sentiment. I think it's a green flag. I saw. I don't know. He's the guy that I constantly see on Instagram Reels. He's always plugging Popper and complaining about Commander players. And he was getting mad about Commander players apparently hoarding snow basics because they look pretty. I don't know if this guy has never seen like actual full art lands, but 90% of Commander players are not playing snow basics because they fucking look cool. I could rattle off 10 sets that have basics that look better than any Snowland ever printed. And this guy's like, oh, they're hoarding it. There's only one Snowland that's over $1, and it's the island. All the rest of them are under $1. You can buy snow basics for like 30 cents. So I'm like, I don't know where this guy gets off saying that commander players hoard snowlands, but I have a lot of them. But I don't,
I I thought they were more expensive when I bought them, but I might be tripping just since I bought 30, so it felt like it was a lot.
Well, did you buy the full art ones from the
No,
Modern Horizon
no.
set?
No, so yeah, the full art ones are a little bit more, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess the regulars are just as much as normal ones. You can get nicer full arts for cheaper in that case.
hmm Well,
Yeah.
I think the only reason that people or that this guy was saying that commander players hoard them is because like I get rid of all my basics. Like anything that's not a full art basic, I don't need it. Like I'll give it away, I'll donate it to my store or give it away. Like, but snow basics, no, I'm gonna keep them. Like I'm gonna hang on to them, use them for decks or, trade them or whatever. But I mean, most of the time, all it takes is like one card to to need snowlands for it to matter. I mean, like there was one like my old lightning bolt deck. I had one card frostbite that was basically a lightning bolt if you had 3 snow permanents. So the entire deck was snowlands because of that. Um,
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's only ever like one card
yeah,
if you're
and
not
there's I
playing a
mean there's
solo deck.
basically no downside to them. Like pretty much swapping in snowlands can low key be a strict upgrade um, over basics, which is most of the reason why they're more expensive. And they do enable a lot of different typal strategies. And obviously there are snow commander decks, so those are a thing. But yeah, I think it's a green flag overall. It means maybe you have a little more creatively brewed deck. Maybe you have some fun cards because you don't see them very often. Um, you see snow basics more often than you see the actual cards that rely on them oftentimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm always happy to see a snow cover basic.
Green flag. Green
Green
flag on the
flag.
snows. All right, what's next?
So this
What's
is
next?
so this doesn't necessarily what you're reading on the script doesn't necessarily correlate to what I'm about to describe, but this is someone whose playmat or sleeves or deck box match the commander, not just like match each other, but like if someone rolls up and they're like, "Hey, I want to play this deck," and they unroll a playmat with their commander on it, or their sleeves have that commander art on them. How do you perceive that off the rip?
Um, I mean, I think it depends. When it comes to the playmat, I've never been a person to have like a lot. I rocked one playmat for like 10 years until I got the Dandan one, and now I've been using that exclusively. So the playmat, I feel like you don't see that as often. Yeah, it would maybe more go to the sleeves, and that's why I like what was it? So MH3, they had the side profile faces for those legends, which was super nice. So I got that for my Omo deck, which have been really nice. My only issue is like the quality on those are always, a little
Mm-hmm.
poor. But I think there's something to be said for it because like making all your stuff kind of look nice, it always I think just ups your I don't know experience maybe in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Just makes it a little bit more fun to play because it's all you know kind of goes to like the blinging aspect. So I would say green flag, uh, unless they're playing like a commander like I'm trying to think like I can't even think of a commander that's like bad that has sleeves with them like Vivi maybe.
Urza.
Oh yeah, Urza does, doesn't he? So maybe that is a big red flag. But like again, how often are you going to see that? It's like one or two that are really think that bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. What do you think though?
I think it's a red flag. I think when someone is like super obsessed with their commander, they like I don't know. Have you ever had someone like I'm sure we've all seen the memes of like that one guy on TikTok or whatever talking about his Phyrexian mommies where he has like a deck that's all the Praetors, all the female Praetors. And it's like the guy gets like super pissed off when you kill his commander or something like that, even though his commander's a threat. I think those kinds of people tend to have all the matching stuff. Like if they like their commander too much, and then they get like upset when you remove it, or get upset when you make the optimal play or don't let them win. I think that kind of goes hand in hand with it. Obviously, causation does not equal correlation, or vice versa. But I see that more often than not when I see matching sleeves and playmat stuff.
Yeah, I guess I'm with you where it's like this the small percentage of people speak the loudest, and that's kind of where all the problems come from. Where have we
Mm-hmm.
seen that before?
No, no, no! You're gonna have to cut that. Oh my god!
I wasn't gonna say. I don't even know what I was gonna say. That could
I know
really
you
go
weren't
for
gonna say
anything.
it, but now we have to cut. You have to cut that.
Okay.
Um.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, I guess. When you put it that way, there are a couple undesirables in the community that really ruin the vibe. It's
mhm,
like when you're here when you're just trying to play for vibes and everyone gets on your case. It's like I'm just here for the vibes.
mhm. Well, and here's like I don't know. The thing with like a red flag or a green flag is that it's not an end all be all. You know what I mean? Like obviously you're not a combination of your red and green flags. It's like if you have matching sleeves or and they match your playmat and they match your commander, that doesn't mean you're a freak. That's just like something that immediately is alarm bells in my head when I sit down at a table you may not be that way, and most likely you probably aren't. But that's just like the first thing that happens in my head, and that's kind of where these are going. These aren't end all be all stereotypes. These are just like, interesting. Red flag.
I
He's
mean,
got yellow showing sleeves.
yeah, I would say I guess we can look at it in less of like the actual gameplay, but more of like first impressions. Like, I guess if we're going off first impressions, yeah, I would say you probably would look at someone sit at the table with something like that and be like, oh great, here we go again, and then we'll see what happens after that. But
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, first impression, I would agree, red flag.
All right, so this that was something. The snow basics was definitely something that was talked about a lot. But here's one that seems to be so prevalent online and in the community: playing blue.
You know, we talked about this on the channel. My favorite color, my favorite color is white. Just in general, I like to go against the grain.
Mm-hmm.
White, I feel like gets a lot of hate sometimes. People don't think it's super powerful. This, that, the other. But I hate to say that even though I'm a self-proclaimed white enthusiast, white enthusiast, uh, I play a lot of blue. I play a lot of blue, and I've been the target of those accusations of you're a blue player. It's like, of course you always have something in your hand. It's like you play blue in every deck, and I'm like, okay, I don't play blue in every deck, but I do like to have blue because I like to have a little bit of control over my game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't like to leave stuff up to chance all the time. uh so I can see where it comes from, and I hate to say it, but it has to be a red flag. It really does, because dude, it's blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's the infamous color. It's the infamous color. What do you
Well,
think?
and you could take this any way you want to, Thomas. Whether it's just playing blue in a deck or playing mono blue, which I feel like one is definitely worse than the other.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I see it everywhere on the internet. I think people like to shit on players because it helps them feel better after losing to us blue players. You're just so mad that we have all the good cards and we want to play them. And here's the thing, guys. I don't really play that much blue. Like obviously my EDH deck is Azorius, and so is your competitive deck. Even when I'm not in blue, I've got counter spells. I will rock Null Elemental Blast until the day I die. I will rock Withering Boon till the day I die. I just picked up a red counter spell that I didn't even know existed until today, but I bought it. Where'd it go? Burnout, counter target interrupt spell. If it is blue, draw a card at the beginning of next turn's upkeep. Flavor text. Gotcha. I don't care if I'm not playing blue. I've got counter spells for days, and I will not be patronized for it. I'm tired of seeing it online. Playing blue is definitely a red flag because if you need blue to play blue, you're not a true blue player.
And you know what the craziest thing about playing blue is people will get all up on your case, and get so pissed off until they need you. Adam,
And then
how
they'll get
many
pissed that you don't
times
have the counter spell.
like how many times have you been playing CDH and you complain about this all the time? It's like everyone is looking at you to be the one to take care of every single threat. Then as soon as you can't, they get pissed off.
Yeah,
What do you want, bro? What do you guys want?
yeah.
Genuinely.
It'd be the same. It'd be the same ones. Oh, filthy blue player. Oh, do you have a counter spell for that? Can you do something about this board wipe? I don't run any interaction in this deck. Get the fuck out of here. But I said it once and I'll say it again. You don't have to play blue to play blue. If you need to play blue, you're not a blue player. You need to be playing blue in your green decks. You need to be playing blue in your red decks. Period.
Well, that's well said. Well said. All right, what do we
All
got
right.
next?
So the next few are going to deal with specifically who you've got in your command zone. And this one is also one that I think we can share because this was actually pre-bracket when you and I used to play at Four Horsemen. We experienced a gentleman playing the original mono black Yawgmoth. Or no,
Hmm.
Yargle. Yargle. And this is a generic commander. So this is either like a draw engine in the command zone that doesn't do anything, or, you know, for example, I have a mono green Tarian World Tyrant deck, and that is just a vanilla creature with flavor text on it. What are your first thoughts? And obviously, I mean, you've played against my Tarian deck as well. So what are your initial thoughts when you see a commander that does nothing, or like a super broken commander like Riven Turnbull, for example?
Okay, we I don't think it's fair to bundle Riven Turnbull with these because he's just on another level. Because
Well,
it's
yeah,
not like he
because
just has flavor text. Because he can tap for a black at as an interrupt.
yeah, or a blue,
But yeah, let's let's just like put that to the
like whenever
side
you
because I feel
want.
like
Yeah.
yeah,
We've been
that's
down this road before. We don't need to.
it's a different conversation. But um, it's funny that you mention whatever deck that you just mentioned because I had something else on my mind the entire time you were talking about it. And it's like, Adam, I feel like you've played something that also had only flavor text that was way worse.
Well, the thing is, Yargle and Multani is different because it's obvious what's going on there. Like that card does something.
But how is that? But it's basically the same as the other ones that you're talking about,
No,
right?
but the thing is, like, you know a lot less. The thing is, you. I guess what I mean is a commander that doesn't really communicate what the deck is doing. A command. Oh, there's got to be a good way to say this. Like a, I don't know, a wild card commander. Like you have no idea what the 99 looks like. If you sit down next to Yargle or in front of Yargle and Multani, you know what the deck is going to do. You know you're going to have a frog getting thrown at you. Like, but you know, Tarian World Tyrant. I mean, that's just green. Like you have no
Yeah.
idea what's going to be in that.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I guess when you put it that way, I would probably say a red flag, and that's mostly because, you know, it's really hard to play against that. Like just looking like let's go back a second, like let's look at it from the perspective of a blue player. Blue players thrive on, understanding like the board state and knowing what to interact with and when. And when they whip out something that makes that exceedingly difficult, even if you're in blue, if you're in something else, it really is annoying, especially because you don't necessarily know what's going on. You might leave them be for too long, and then it gets out of hand. Then it's like, well, can't can't even say that we tried because what could we have done? You know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I don't know. Yeah, it's just something you don't see very often, but when you do, yeah, it's memorable in a bad way.
Yeah.
Memorable in a bad way.
Well, and the guy we played against when we played against that Yargle turn one, I mean, this was pre mana crypt ban, but he just like dumped a bunch of mana rocks. Like he had a mana crypt turn one and Urborg. Like it was the most broken generic mono black good stuff.
Mhm.
He swung at me, I think, turn one or two with Yargle and then gave it infect and killed me. You remember that? He killed me with it.
Yeah, it's ringing some bells.
He tainted strike me, and I'm like, great. And I was just out of the game turn three. Um, but yeah, it's like you have no idea what's going to happen. You don't know, like Thomas said, you don't know when to interact. You don't know what you're going to be up against. And oftentimes people won't tell you what's in the deck. So I think it's a red flag as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, they'll just be like, oh, it's just a regular deck, standard stuff, nothing crazy, and they'll whip out Guy's Cradle, or they'll bring out. I mean, Mana Crypt was a good example. Can't think of something else. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Red flag.
that was a wild game. I remember that guy's mana crypt hit him every turn too. That was awesome. I got to play. Oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you. I got to play in that commander cube I told you about a little while ago.
Hmm.
I got to play mana crypt. I took damage from that mana crypt once. I think I won the coin flip like almost 8 or 9 times. It was awesome.
Mana
Oh my
Crypt,
god.
dude, they need to unban it. They need to unban
No.
Mana Crypt. It's not that bad.
It was really there's a reason it's banned. I when I had a turn one Urza saga that I was gonna go get it with, you know what happened?
What happened?
My search trigger got stifled. Someone held up a blue and stifled my Urza Saga's trigger, so I had to sacrifice the Urza Saga and couldn't find the mana rock. I was so mad. Oh my god. Okay.
Stifle's a good card.
Yeah, dude,
Underrated.
I was so pissed. Okay. Next up, if they're playing a CEDH commander, but I think more specifically because the CDH meta is so wide, especially at your local game stores or towards more casual CDH a thing, like
I think so.
non-tournament CEDH, because the meta is so wide. You can, at this point, because there's so many good cards printed, you could put any commander in the command zone and just have a pile of 3-color good stuff and do pretty okay. So specifically, we're going to kind of tie this to if they're playing the partners. And we know what CEDH partners are, like Thrasios, Timna, Rograk, the scary ones. What do we think? What do you think when you sit down at the table?
I mean, it's not something I see very often, but it's not to say that it doesn't happen. I feel like most most often, if I see something like that, I want to say it's like Timna.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see Timna a lot, and maybe Rograk, but outside of that, there's not a whole lot else that I've seen at a casual table. And I don't know. I can't even like really think about what the decks were because the only thing I really have in my mind is the CDH version. So it's like, what else are you doing? And I guess the answer to that question is probably nothing good. You're up to nothing good if you're playing those things because everyone knows what they're used for, and you're like, oh, it's not that kind of deck. Everyone know, dude. That's such a big red flag. Whenever someone's like, it's not that, like it's not what you think. It's not that kind of deck. It always is.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows it always is. Like you're not slick. Red
Yeah,
flag.
why? And I think with stuff like like the thing is, these commanders are, I mean, like they're good. They're definitely just generically very powerful. Um, and stuff like Thrasios. Like when you play against a Thrasios deck, they're gonna have the training grounds, the Biomancer's Familiar. Um, they're gonna be playing an absurd number of mana rocks. They're gonna have a Kinnan in the 99. They're gonna be playing whatever the 5 mana thing that untaps all your stuff everybody's turn. They're gonna be activating Thrasios a billion times and just bury you in value. Like there's really, and I think I think you should stay away from those commanders if you're trying to play casual, because those decks naturally tend towards competitive, and people will 100% target you. Obviously, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt when I can, but if I sit next to Rog Thras at a casual table, I'm gonna have my hackles up a little bit. I'm gonna be like, what are you doing over there?
Then they get mad when you target them. Like,
It's like, sorry,
what did you
dude,
expect?
you've got 4 Thrasios activations on board. I'm gonna swords it.
All
Okay.
right. What do we got next? What do we got next?
The last commander that I want to get your opinion on is the Eminence commanders. So now there's a lot of these, but we're talking about the staples like not Soren. Oh my God, Edgar,
Edgar Markov.
um,
Dragon.
Dragon, the stupid ones,
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, you say there's a lot of them, but realistically, there's two, and it's those two that you only ever
and Ala.
see.
And Ala is a CEDH deck.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Um, I don't. Yeah, I mean, one of the guys that I play with now, he has an Dragon deck, and I will say he hasn't won. He hasn't played it too much, but he hasn't. I haven't seen him win with it yet. So I don't know. If they're as good as they used to be. I mean, they are good. They're still good, but they're not. I don't think they're as oppressive as they used to be. But my issue with it is, go on to EDH rec. They're in the top five, right? They will probably always be in the top five, and that's kind of that's my only issue with it is like, yo, just play something different, bruh. Like, just tell me you didn't know who to play, and you're like, I just want to play the best. Like, you don't got to say it out loud. Like, I already know.
Mm-hmm.
I would say red flag, even if the deck isn't that good.
Yeah. Well, and this is obviously, most of these are barring a new player. Like if someone who just learned to play or just got into the game is playing Tim the Thrasios, I'm not gonna be pissed. You It takes years for you to understand the nuances of this game and why targeting happens, turn zero and all that stuff. But I will say I played a game yesterday with gentleman from oh my god, why am I blanking? From Comics Vault, and I think he like turned to he was playing the new um the upgraded Elementals precon, turned to drop to Helm of Awakening. And that was so cool. Just getting to pay one less for all the spells, even though obviously it was um everybody got to, but just being like it changed the whole game for me. Like I was able to snowball so much faster. So the Dragon getting a Helm of Awakening for your dragon spells in the command zone that you don't have to pay for is absurd. Like yeah, huge red flag if you're playing an Eminence commander.
I really like the line that you drew between like the newer players and that. So I guess that is something to take into consideration because we can't get mad. I guess you're right. We can't get mad at people like that because it when it's so overwhelming like the choices that you have, you can't like one thing that I know this isn't an Eminence commander, but I know a lot of like newer players will. I mean, I was even one of them. Well, we'll try Turgrid. Like, hey, Turgrid looks fun,
Mm-hmm.
and then but they will learn very quickly. Turgrid is not going to be very fun because you will get targeted, and it doesn't matter how good, how bad your build is. People are going to make sure that it's not fun for you to play, so that you get off that deck.
Yep.
Uh, which fair enough.
Yeah, it happens. Um, all right, and then our last little grouping of these are going to be what these people do at the table in addition to playing. So the first one is something that you and I have definitely done before, and we see it happen all the time, and that's either trading with. I guess I don't want to say trading with someone else in the same game because I think that's a little more okay, but like looking through someone else's trades in game. What do you think?
Well, this is tough because there's a couple different scenarios. I think you're right. If you're doing it with somebody else who's in the game, it's mostly okay. But more often than not, it'll be you'll be in a game if it's somebody that's not in the game that you're playing that comes up and asks. You know, I don't necessarily want to say no because you know sometimes you won't really get a chance to trade with them or like they'll like leave. I've had that where like I said like hey like after this event let's get together and do the trades and then after the event they're nowhere to be found and it's like oh that's great.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the reason why I don't always like saying no and I try to be like when I do it respectful about it as to not hold up the game for the trades, but there are some people that don't necessarily follow that mentality. And I think that's where you get into the red flag
Mm-hmm.
is when you're, I don't want to say being obnoxious, but holding up the game and causing more of a distraction than just like yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's definitely a right way and a wrong way to do it. So like the only time that I will be looking through someone's trades while I'm playing, especially if that person like number one, if they're in game with me and they ask me and they come up to me and ask, like yeah, I got a small trade binder, do you want to take a peek? If it's like turn 6, sure, I'm probably going to have another 5 to 10 minutes before it comes back to my turn. So I'll take a look. Um but the only other time that I will do that with someone outside of the game is if they have already pulled cards from my collection that they want, and so it's up to me to finish the trade by finding stuff from their binder that I need. If I'm like, I'm not just gonna like take someone's binder and look through their stuff if I don't have to.
Yeah.
Um, but also, even if you do that, there's still a right way to do it. Like you need to, first off, you need to know what you're going to be doing on your next turn. You need to have already looked at your hand, looked at the board state. You counted your mana. You know if you're going to make your land drop, whatever. You kind of need to have an idea of what you're going to try to do. You have to have a very good idea of your next turn. You also need to have a very good idea of if you're going to interact at any point. If you have a fetch land, just crack it. Let's be honest, you're not going to do anything on an end step. You're not, you know, just crack the fetch land while someone else is going. Do your thing. Make sure you're not holding up the game at all. And that, like I said, that goes for even on your turn. Because if you take the time when you normally would be thinking about your next play and you just take that time up by looking through trades that and you're not benefiting anybody else at the table, that's not cool. Um, and just know that if you're going to counter this person's commander, If they see you look up from the trade binder and you couldn't be bothered to interact with their game, but you still counted their commander, like people are going to be upset about that. Whether that's right or wrong, I think it's sort of a red flag, but there definitely is some nuance to it. Like if you're not holding up the game and you're not totally absent and you're paying attention to things, I don't think it's a huge problem.
I think that what you said should actually just be a general thing, not even just with trades. If you're not thinking about your turn before it happens,
Mm-hmm.
just please, just start doing that because man, it really, I know sometimes, everyone like you can't always stop the fact that you might take like a longer turn if like something comes up to change it or whatever it is. But dude, if you don't have a plan before your turn, like as is, man, like it's noticeable, and sometimes it can get like a little annoying. Like I'm not going to say anything about it usually unless you're like just doing it all the time. Oh, sorry, unless you're my friend and doing it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Italo. Like I'll talk shit on Italo for taking long ass turns. I'm like, bro, did you not think of what you were going to do before? He's like, no, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
It's
but
like
yeah.
those periods of thinking time are reserved for when you draw six cards and you didn't know what those six cards were going to be, or you wheel, or you top deck a soul ring, and suddenly that changes the calculations of the amount of mana that you're going to have available for the rest of the turn. Like that's totally fine, but 9 times out of 10, you top deck a land and your turn is not changed at all. Just do your thing. Don't waste people's time. Commander games take long enough.
Yeah.
And then I guess this kind of goes along with it. If they're on their phone, I know you do this a lot, Thomas.
No, I don't do this a lot. Okay, first of all,
You
I've been
admitted
getting
you admitted in one of our previous episodes that you're constant that you use it as a manipulation tactic. That you like will pretend you're not paying attention to the game and you will literally be on your phone.
no, I said I used to. I said I used to.
Oh, right.
I said I used to do that, and I don't do that as much. Like I try and stay off my phone. You know, every so often, like I don't have a problem with like you have to like check something or whatever it is because I've ran into like the situation where I'll be at the game store for like hours and I like missed something
Mm-hmm.
that was like important and I like feel bad. So I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, like I just did not see this, and I know it's been like 6 hours, but my fault. but uh, but no, like there's a difference between that and like people that are just like genuinely like if it's not their turn, they got nothing going on, they're just sitting there doing it. Like you remember that one game that we played on Spell Table, uh, with the dude who whenever it wasn't his turn would literally in Spell Table like you don't see the face cam, you just see their overhead, and he had his like hands sitting on the table with his phone in his hand. We could see him the entire time just on his phone, not paying attention when it wasn't his turn. It's like, dude, that's just a little bit rude, low key, just a little rude. You can at least hide it. Like I'm not going to front. Sometimes when we're on Spell Table and we're in one of those games that I'm getting, completely boned and or someone's taking a super long turn and I just got nothing going on. Like, yeah, dude, I'm not going to sit there for like 20 minutes, wait for my turn to come back and just so I can do nothing, which is what I've been doing the whole game. Like, I'll go on my phone. You know what I mean? But that's different. Like because like you're on Spell Table and all that stuff. But dude, in person, just get off it, bruh. Get off it. I've been good. I've been really good about it recently. Pride myself on that. Pride myself on that. I
Yeah.
fixed my social game, so I don't need to act like I'm not paying attention to the game. I can talk my way out of it now. I'm like a
Right.
weasel. I'm
Right.
like
Right.
a I'm
Right.
like a commander weasel. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the last mini tournament that I had to stand in for someone in, I had to do so much politicking, dude. Like I probably talked for the first 20 minutes of the first game that I played. It was like just yeah. Immediately the deck was mono blue, so it was like I had to politic with all my counter spells. But yeah, no, it's yeah.
For the most
Um
part, I would say red flag. If it's you know a lot, which like I
yeah,
think the people that are on their phones, like it is like
yeah.
quite dude, I can't even think of like a good word to describe it. I don't want to say, I mean, it is rude is one thing, but it's just like too much. They're doing too much with it.
Yeah. And I mean, being on your phone is fine as long as it's not. you know, all right, I pass turn, sets hand down, picks up phone. Like that's
Yeah.
we've all been against those players, and it's like, oh, and then like it'll get back to their turn, and they'll just like try to do something with their commanders, like, oh yeah, dude, we removed that. Oh, right. I'll move it over. Like, come on. Um, yeah, so I would definitely say red flag, and also like, I'm torn as far as saying red flag because I'm trying to register my own bias in that when I go to the game store, it's like I like to shut everything else off. This is me time. This is hanging out with my friends time. This is trading cards. This is playing with cardboard time. Like bug off. So like yeah, sometimes I'll answer your text if I really like you, but for the most part, don't bug don't bug me.
He doesn't like me. He doesn't answer my texts.
I do. Don't hit me with that. I just don't answer the homoerotic ones.
That's not even like the kind of text I sent. Usually,
Usually, oh, right.
sometimes.
Gotcha. Okay, moving on. Um, what happens if you sit down at a table and you're trying to have a rule zero conversation and they don't understand, or not necessarily they don't understand because you can teach people, but they don't know or use or care to learn about the bracket system?
Well, here's my issue. I don't like the way that that you bundle all those together because I feel like a lot of those are different. Like, don't know about it is a lot different than like refusing to use it.
I mean specifically someone who is not interested in using the bracket system. Because a lot
Yeah,
it's
fair
and it's
enough.
and it's a lot of fairly experienced players that feel this way.
I mean, so I personally haven't run across anybody like I found like everybody I know is using it and fine with it. So I personally have not come across anybody like that. But I feel like if I would, dude, it's so hard to to pick because I look at it as it like why do you feel the need to be special? Like it's like the rules of the game. Okay, not rules of the game, but like it basically is now. It's like
Yeah.
this is for the community. That's like saying um I in a draft you're not supposed to collude with like your friend that's also in the pod, but you do anyway because you just don't care. It's like come on. Like everyone else is with the program. Like, can we be for real?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I would say, yeah, if we're going on people that just refuse to use it, that's kind of a red flag because it's like why?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
what's the deal with that? Yeah, I'm 100% red flag. Um, I think, and this is something that kind of alludes to something bigger than just this topic, but I had this happen recently, and I'm like, oh, I don't really use the brackets. Like, I don't really know what this deck is. Like, and I'm like, okay, so like, do you know how many game changers are in it? Like, do you have any idea? Because like, what with the old power scale, he's like, no, I don't know, and it ended up being like a really really strong three from just how many game changers that I saw. And what surprised me was how bad it felt to not have someone understand the nomenclature that I was trying to use. Like it really it made me realize how effective, believe it or not, I think the bracket system is. It is a really, really clean way, and just a really, really efficient way to communicate your deck power level, I think. Um, a lot more than I gave it credit for at first. It's like you really miss something or you don't know what you have till it's gone. And so not being able to have that conversation really was like, oh, these brackets are actually kind of useful. I kind of wish this guy would stop being a freak and use the brackets. So I think it's like I said, I think it's a huge red flag.
yeah, I'm with it. Again,
And
it's like
like
when
it'll
you
take
put
you
it
10
that
minutes to
way.
learn. All the popular deck building sites tell you what bracket your commander deck is. And then if you sit down with a pot of all threes and you constantly curb stomp people, you might tell people it's a strong three. Like it's not hard.
I don't know. For some people, they're just they're really stuck in their ways.
Crazy.
Some people aren't with change. Or maybe they just like it when people don't understand, like kind of going back to the generic commander thing, when they just like it when people don't know what their deck is about, so they can just get that little extra advantage.
Yeah, like, come on. It's
Yeah.
casual. All right. And then the last one on our list is someone who doesn't ask if proxies are okay, but it's not like a budget deck or something. This is a full out, you know, they drop a copy artifact. Like they drop reserve list cards that they didn't ask you about prior. Maybe not things that are game changers per se, but like reserve list cards that are really strong that are hundreds or thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I would say red flag, because I'm glad that you said it before I had the chance to ask, because there's definitely a difference between proxying a like 50-cent card for whatever the reason is versus a Tolarian Academy.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's banned,
Or
but
wait, that's banned, yeah. Or a, trying to think of Candelabra of Tanos.
yeah,
Proxying
exactly.
that and just not saying anything. It's like, hmm, I wouldn't have said anything if you just said like, "Is it okay?" But like, since you didn't, and then I noticed, I'm like, "Is that a proxy?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, oh, okay. But it is tough because like, what are you really gonna do? What are you really gonna do about it? But definitely a red flag. 'Cause it kind of goes back to what we were saying, where it's just kind of rude in the
Mm-hmm.
end.
Well, what's crazy is so there's like transmute artifact, which is a better tinker. Actually, wait, no, it's not the same. Not quite the same. But yeah, I mean, there's cards that are just like really broken that are hundreds of dollars that you don't expect to go against if you're playing against a two, but they don't tell you that there's proxies in it. Like, yeah.
That's certainly one way that you can treat strangers.
Oh yeah,
I
this
don't
deck is.
know.
I was playing. I was playing with Jared and some of our buddies at Snake Eyes in Altoona, and I was watching this guy play a Krenko deck that he did not mention were proxies, and it wasn't he was borrowing it, but the guy who he was borrowing it from was also in the pod. Did not mention the deck was proxied. This guy drops a turn one Mishra's Workshop.
Oh, was there more to the story? So I was waiting for like what
No,
else
he
he
just
did.
it's a Mishra's Workshop. It's like $1,000 land that taps for three. That taps for three colorless only for artifact spells. Like
Hmm.
it's an absurdly expensive card that's not a game changer. It's purely relegated by it being reserveless. Is it Mishra's Workshop? Yeah, Mishra's. It's $3,000 because it's only been printed in Antiquities.
That's insane.
Yeah,
You're already playing a Krinko deck. Like, really, really,
yeah.
you just needed that 3K proxy. Like,
And I'm just
I
like,
don't know,
oh,
dude.
is this deck proxies? And he's like, oh, yeah, yeah. Really? Oh, I thought that Mishra's Workshop was real. Silly me. Yeah, no, it
Like,
was definitely funny though.
no, I feel like when they do that, they're just asking for the target. They're
Yeah.
asking to get hard targeted even more
Mm-hmm.
than if he wasn't playing Krinko.
Yeah.
That's funny. I know that was the last one. Can I add one more to the list though before we
Yeah.
end? Okay, let me set the stage. I could have killed you, but, or if if I drew this, then, oh, I wish I had a third one. We'll leave it with those two. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. This one is again like kind of a gray area. It really depends. Like when they're salty and they're like, you know, you suck. Like you got lucky. You're so lucky I didn't draw six more cards or I would have had you. But because we play competitive so often, I do like knowing, that you were only one turn away, or that maybe my threat assessment this turn was accurate. Like there was one, like we were playing that budget league, and I minor misstepped this guy's turn one Soul Ring because he was playing the Azorius Heliod, or he was playing Wheeliod, the CEDH commander, and he's like,
Wheelie,
yeah,
that's funny.
no. He's like, yeah, no, you absolutely should have done that. He's like, yeah, I would have won the game turn three. I'm like, you know, but it's nice to hear things like that, and it's interesting like to see what people had in their hands. But when they're like mad about it, that's when it's like, okay, just walk away, dude.
Well, yeah, when they're mad about it post game, but then there's also those people that are in the game. Like this is the second time we'll mention that other game we played that one time where the dude was like, I could win the game right now, but I'm having too much fun. But it wasn't like this game is like fun. Like let's keep it going. It's like, yo, um, I'm so much better than you guys, and you know,
Yeah.
I just want to keep proving it.
Well,
It's
also,
ridiculous.
like in this specific game, this person could have just not shown us that it was in the deck or just not tutored for it. Like they could have tutored for something else. Like you didn't have to show us that walking ballista was in the deck. Congrats, you're running a 2-card combo in a bracket 2 deck. Nice. Like that's not a flex. Like okay, nice.
Well, and that's the exact reason why right after that, when I got back to my turn, I'm like, if I drew a land just now, I could win the game. And then he got pissed. Dude, he got
Mm-hmm.
so mad when I said that. And I was like, you could give it, but you can't take it, and at that
Yeah,
point,
that was the craziest part. That was the craziest
yeah.
part.
Yeah, like I hate to say it, but the whole rest of that game like was honestly just a big troll for me because like I could not take it. Like after you make a comment like that, and I'm like, dude, like no,
Mm-hmm.
like this is not the game that we're gonna be playing right now. And so I
Yeah.
targeted him the rest of the game, and I was just completely trolling. Um, I don't recommend doing that often unless they really deserve it.
Mm-hmm. Like
Most of the time they
was in
don't,
this
but
case.
like in this case it was everyone at that table, Adam and Andrew, shout out Cyborg Therapy, they can all agree it was well deserved.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Enough of outing other people. Let's wrap this thing up. Um, so yeah, I think we had some very good discussions about some interesting topics, some very hotly debated topics. Definitely going to have a lot to make TikToks about. Um, but anything else, Thomas? Do you want to talk about before we round this episode off?
no, I mean like I said at the beginning, I was surprised because yeah, the your view on things definitely kind of opened it up of how certain things can be red flags to some people or green flags to others. So it is kind of interesting
Mm-hmm.
to see things from that perspective. But very good list, and there's obviously so much more that we haven't even touched on. That's what makes the game so fun, and I mean unfun in some situations, I guess, but exciting, I guess, ever changing. Put it that way.
Yeah, for sure. Well, if Thomas, you don't have anything else, I'm all set. So thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If there's anything that you disagree or agree on, throw that in the comments. Let us know how you feel. If you think that we are wrong about something, because we're pretty wrong pretty frequently. So if there's something you disagree with, feel free to throw it down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. But again, thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next episode.
See you guys.